Welcome to another episode of Here's Why, brought to you by
Why Not Results.
I'm Jimmy Talbert.
Mario Lizarraga here.
And today we're going to be talking about delivering and wowing. So post-sale, really impressing your clients and making them happy and creating advocates of what you do. Now, this episode is part of a season on Lifecycle marketing. So let's go ahead and let's do a quick overview of Lifecycle marketing, just a few minutes, and then we'll dive into exactly what we're going to talk about today. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. So before we go through the different stages of Lifecycle marketing, what I'd like to do is make sure that you're thinking about two separate things. I want you to remember that your prospects are people. So I don't care if you call your customers, clients, patients, students, whatever. I don't care if you sell B2B or B2C. At the end of the day, you sell person to person. And it's important to create a narrative, create a story, create a brand that people can relate to, people can associate with. The other thing that I want you to remember is that systems scale relationships and processes scale relationships. So having those systems, having those processes within your business is absolutely critical to your overall success. So let's quickly go through the different stages of Lifecycle marketing. So it starts with getting traffic to your business. So this is to your blog, getting traffic to your website, also gaining traction on social media, getting people to engage and interact with you throughout these different platforms and across these different mediums where people may look. Okay, the next stage is converting leads. And so when we look at that, this is getting people to give you some information. In most cases, giving information is in exchange for something of value. And we'll dig in deep on that when we go through the the converting leads video on this series as well. And then the next is the nurturing your prospects, which is your sales process. Whether we're talking about your initial sales process of trying to convert your leads into clients, or your long-term nurture or short-term nurture, things like that. The next stage is converting the clients. This is where the sale happens. Making sure that that's a smooth and seamless process so that you don't run into those hiccups so low in the funnel when it ends up costing you a lot of money. Next stage is delivering and wowing, making sure that every client, every customer that you work with has a fantastic experience, wants to be an advocate of your business. If they ever have a conversation with someone about your product or your service, making sure that you're the one that they recommend. And then the next stage here is upsell and cross-sell, which is giving you the ability to actually increase that lifetime customer value of everybody that you work with. And then the last stage is getting referrals and reviews. And I don't even have to tell you how important that is in today's day and age. In the social and digital age, that is absolutely critical to the overall success of your business.
Every time I watch that, I get so warm and fuzzy. Again, over and over. The Jimmy Talbert show is just amazing to me.
Well, I appreciate that.
Plus, I just like talking about the whole life cycle marketing process, right?
Absolutely.
Just seeing it, hearing it again, it just reiterates what I hear, but I seem to forget. So I love it.
You know, it's something that is truly impactful for any business, regardless of what they sell, and just like I talked about there. And so let's go ahead and dive into deliver and wow specifically, and be able to really kind of break this up. So one thing that I'd like you to do when we're talking about that post-sale, that wow factor after someone becomes a client or a customer, think about customer service as a function of marketing. And that's kind of a shift that a lot of businesses have to make, because truthfully, there's an element of marketing that should be involved in almost every aspect of your prospect or customer facing anything, right? Material.
Absolutely.
And so, Mario, you've run multiple very successful businesses. Talk to me a little bit about some things that you've done, some things that you've executed to drive that wow factor?
Well, absolutely. For the 14 years in the restaurant industry, I'd always, set up VIP programs, reward programs, the kind of things that people see all today in their businesses they frequent. Whether you're a Starbucks guy and you like to get their stars, you get your free cup of coffee. I did the VIP programs in that industry, and I'd send you the, hey, it's your birthday card in the mail, and come get your free meal. But now in the insurance practice, that's been a little bit different in the sense where a lot of times I've done things from sending out a thank you card, thank you for purchasing in this, and here's a couple business cards. Maybe if you really think I've done you a good service, please feel free to refer a friend. That's the best form of flattery and appreciation to me. If you refer a brother, sister, aunt, uncle, whatever else.
Well, and I think what you're talking about there, though, is you're talking about referrals, which is that's what oftentimes comes from providing that wow factor. But I'm confident there's things that you do that you're just not addressing here. So once
again, what you're saying is that I am still of the typical business mindset, and I really, truly don't grasp all the time. I get the different stages confused of the marketing process.
I think that's normal for most businesses.
And I do. So I'm probably very much still overlooking the deliver and wow, and I'm not putting enough emphasis on that, and I'm jumping right over to referral.
Definitely possible.
So I don't know. So let's explain to me a little deeper dive here then.
What I know in most businesses, when it comes to truly creating that wow factor for a business, it comes down to building in some layers of accountability for a business or for people within the business, and what happens shortly after, just after you bring someone on. One thing that I've leveraged at other businesses is things like NPS, right? Which stands for Net Promoter Score, right? So it's more or less consistently gathering information from both new and old clients to see how satisfied they still are.
So like surveys and whatnot.
With your service or with what you're doing.
Are you talking about a survey? Or what are you, give me some examples of what you're referring to.
Sure, that could be like a survey. Well, it would depend on the business, really. So
let's just talk about my insurance business.
Okay, so for insurance, it could be how on a scale of 1 to 10, what value are you getting out of, right? It could be just picking up the phone and consistently calling and keeping people up to date, which I know you do because you're busy, and so is the rest of your team.
So we also do things like when we get information from the carriers that are of just embedded benefits that most people typically forget about. We will send out an email saying, "Hey, we have this benefit. Don't forget you have this set of benefits." Would that be something you're considering that you're talking about?
Absolutely.
Okay, so maybe I am doing it a little more often. It's just kind of more second nature to me, and I didn't really consider it part of a marketing platform when I should. That's marketing.
It is, because it's continuously educating them about what they're getting.
I'm doing it.
And what they're avoiding by not going with someone else.
Okay.
Right? And it's that extra layer, because as you know, as we've talked about in other episodes, educating still is a function of marketing. Always is. You're just now educating customers or clients differently than otherwise. And an example that comes to mind is a company I worked with years ago, Avid Off-Road. Okay, they had a company that specifically built custom bumpers and stuff for lifted Toyota trucks. Pretty niche. Right?
Sounds pretty cool.
But the people who were into it were really, really, really into it. And so what they would do is they would survey people and get an idea of levels of satisfaction. If they weren't 100% satisfied, so I believe they had a 1 to 10 scale. And if it was anything below a 9, so 8 to 0, that person got an immediate follow-up and phone call to see what they could have done better. And that also opened up the door for other things, for upsells, cross-sells, stuff like that. And then if they were a 9 or a 10, then it prompted them to post on some of these off-road forums which then built that brand and did other things, which we'll talk about when we get to referrals and reviews as well.
That's really smart.
It worked very well for them.
That's brilliant. I'm going to try to implement that.
And so,
can you do that for me?
Probably not right away. But it's a matter of what can you do. So if you ask yourself, what can you do for $5 per client that would deliver that level of wow, that extra something.
My buddy who has a landscaping business, he gives his clients every time at the end of the job a T-shirt.
Yeah.
And he comments all the time how this $7 T-shirt just makes people smile. It's that wow factor at the close of the job. Thank you for your business. $7. And they are tickled pink. Just huge smiles because they were appreciated.
Right. Well, another client that you know does the same thing with lawn ship systems.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
They send you when they bring on a new client that's worth thousands and thousands of dollars to them. They send them a shirt and some bumper stickers. They've got like really cool logos, so it's actually a shirt that you'd want to wear.
Right.
And it's they do these little things to just help you feel good about the purchase and feel connected with the business. And then it's a matter of consistent follow-up and education thereafter to remind them of the value proposition of why they started working with you to begin with.
Brilliant. It makes a lot of sense, and I think I think the lesson here to me is to make sure to methodically think about that. Each one of these life cycle steps. Okay, what are we doing in step 1? Clear through step 7, and the delivering wow factor is something that's probably that really methodically needs to be in place.
Well, it's
an easy step.
That's right.
It's so easy, and there's no salesmanship to that at all. That's pure acknowledgement of thank you for your business.
And it is directly related to the next 2 stages that we're going to talk about in our next episodes, which is upsell, cross-sell, and referral and review, right? So, what are some different things how happy does someone need to be, and how happy do you need to keep them? Because someone might be delighted at the point of sale, and this is where a lot of small businesses sometimes miss the mark. They might be delighted at the point of sale, but then it's about reminding them of the value of what you did, and it's a follow-up game still.
Makes so much sense.
Even after someone's a client, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Makes so much sense.
You can't get too busy being a hunter and forget about this stuff that you've already worked and you've already done a lot for.
Right.
So, thank you so much for joining today. This is Here's Why, brought to you by Why Not Results. And like I said, next episode is the upsell cross-sell. This is part of our season on Lifecycle marketing, and we look forward to seeing you on the next episode.
And don't forget to subscribe, like, follow, whichever medium that you're probably following us or hearing this on. We're here to help. We're going to come up with a lot of different educational topics. Myself, this is really, really helpful. I'm more, more entrepreneurial and thinking big picture, and I really have never understood marketing per se. And so it's fantastic for a guy like myself to be able to pick Jimmy's brain, who's very marketing oriented, and that's why we're kind of yin and yang in this partnership we have here, because it's such a great balance. Because I do definitely think a little too high level of things, and I miss a lot of the details. And when the marketing component is so important,
when we can tie it all together,
and we can't miss. We shouldn't miss any details. I hate it. No offense.
And everybody misses details. That's part of running a business.
Thanks for what you do.
But well, thank you. All right. Well, we'll see you on the next episode. Take care.